Hey, it is October 15th, and we're out in the garden today, and we've got to get some things processed and canned. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what happened this week. Earlier in the week, we were under a hard freeze warning. Not almost, but a lot of the state of Utah was, and especially in our area. We tend to freeze a lot earlier than the Wasatch Front. And anyway, so Brianne and I decided this year, other than that very first time that I covered up the tomatoes when we thought we were going to get a freeze, I decided I wasn't going to keep covering and uncovering, covering and uncovering. And so we decided to come out here and just pick everything. And of course, we picked the very coldest and the very windiest day to do it. But then it didn't freeze. And so now we've got about 2 bushel of green tomatoes, a bushel of red tomatoes, and a whole bunch of peppers, as well as I think 10 or 15 head of cabbage. And we haven't even picked the Brussels sprouts yet. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about green tomatoes and what you can do with them. So if you'll notice, I've cut all these green tomatoes, and they're kind of small, but I do have some big ones too. But if you'll see, they're a lot meatier than a red tomato tends to be. They've got a lot thicker sidewall and a lot thicker core. And so when you run those through the colander, your processor, however you're going to process your tomatoes to use, they're going to be a lot more meaty and not quite so much juice. And we're going to make some chili verde with them. It's really good. We did it last year. There's all kinds of recipes depending on how cold or how mild or how hot you want your recipe to be. Really good over chicken, excellent with eggs. And you can mix it with your chicken to make chicken enchiladas, and it's really yummy. But we're going to do some of that. We're also going to do some raspberry jam that's made out of green tomatoes and raspberry jello. I know, it sounds terrible, but it is so yummy. We do have some red tomatoes, and we're going to make some mandarin sauce, and you can find that mandarin sauce recipe for canning all over the internet. It's just tomatoes, onions, pineapple, vinegar, sugar, and some seasonings. It's so good over rice, so good over chicken and rice. If you like that kind of sweet and sour taste, it's really yummy. Brianne is in the canning shed right now, and she is processing all of the peppers that we have. We have a lot of Anaheim peppers, and we've got a lot of jalapeno peppers. And either though we're going to use some of them in our chili verde, we are going to take them. We're going to put them in the food processor and chop them up kind of fine. And then we're going to stick them in the freeze dryer. And then as soon as they have been freeze dried, we're going to put them through the food processor again. And we're going to have chili powder, not chili powder, but pepper powder. So we'll have some jalapeno pepper powder that'll be a little hotter. We'll have some Anaheim pepper powder that will be quite more mild. And then I'm just going to freeze dry some green peppers. And those are really good in fajitas or just about anything you like to put green peppers in once you reconstitute them. But some people might ask, what are you going to do with that pepper powder? Well, we decided it would be a great alternative to put in some tacos. Perhaps use it as part of your seasoning for enchiladas. Or maybe if you just want to put it in with a little bit of any kind of soup that you do, maybe a taco soup, a tortilla soup. Those are both yummy. Might want just a little bit of a kick, and that powder will do it. And it's so easy to process that way if you've got a freeze dryer. And I think you probably could do it with a dehydrator. It would just take longer, and your product might be a little bit different. You're not going to be able to put it in your food processor and make it into powder. But you know what? Today we've still got a few more things to get out of the garden. After we're done processing this food, we've got to dig the onions. They're ready to come out. And Hannah, the onions did great. And I think maybe next year you should plant a bunch of onions. We've got carrots that need to be dug. And then I think we're going to slice some of the cabbage up and put it through the freeze dryer also. And then we'll have sliced cabbage to throw in a soup or a stew, or maybe like a stuffed cabbage soup. Those are really good. I've done those before. And you know, cabbage just is a good thing to add. You could add it to your lo mein if you like to cook some Chinese with some cabbage. Anything like that. Cabbage is just good, and it's full of good nutrients for you. Now, I haven't completely cleaned out the garden yet. I'm probably going to do that in 2 weeks. I have some help coming, and I'll be appreciative of that. Part of it will go in the compost pile, and some of it will just go in the garbage. My compost pile is not big enough for all of it. But the garden has done well this year. I have been happy. I kind of had the last few weeks, it's kind of been neglected and I feel bad. Actually, the last month probably. We are closing our business and liquidating everything, and that has taken a lot of time and effort on my part. But the thing about that is I'm going to have a little more time to spend in my garden and in my orchard and in my berry patch next year. I'm going to do some different things in the greenhouse. I'm going to have an opportunity, I think, to go look at some geothermal greenhouses at the end of the month also. And that's something I've always wanted to do. So I don't think I'm done recording for the year, but we'll see. I have enjoyed this, and I've enjoyed you, and I think it's been fun. And if there's anything you want to talk about, just holler. Let's talk about it. We got all winter to do it.